everybody. Welcome to our very first episode of the new old show. Uh, uh, it's the new show, the Crab and Goat Show, with your host, Richard Wayne Kilgo II and Daniel G. Garza. Thank you. For those of you that used to follow us on Zodiacs and Candles and then Zodiacs, this is the reinvented version of those shows, and we are so happy that you're joining us. To all the friends watching us on Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube, do us a favor and share this on your pages so that other folks can watch along with you. For those of you, and on YouTube, make sure that you subscribe and hit that notification bell, let you know every time there's a new show coming up. For those of you watching us on Instagram, it's a little delayed, but I'm keeping an eye on the chat. So that is, if you want to join the conversation later or get a reading, we'll be watching. Just realize that those of you watching on Instagram, it's a little bit delayed, so it might take me an extra second to get to you, but we'll definitely get to you. Richard Wayne Kilgo, how are you doing, sir?
I am good. To be honest, I am a little bit groggy, waking up from my power nap to get prepped for our first show being back. I'm not used to it, but I am so excited for us to continue to hold space in the ways that we have, and do this again in a more more elevated way. There's been a lot of changes in my life since we last had our show. I know there's been a lot that's happened with you as well too. So I'm excited for each week as we go forward to share more and more about my growth, my experiences that I've had, which I'll speak to a little bit during my opening session. But I know we just have so much more to speak to, so much more to offer now. So I felt like this was a perfect time for us to, get this back up and running and come up with a clever, fun new name and, move forward from it. So how about you?
Well, it's been a while since we've had a show together. For those of you that remember the story, back before the lockdown, we used to host the show together. That's how it started. And then we did a little bit during the lockdown. And now we're coming back with this reconstructed show. Things have definitely morphed since the last time we worked together. Again, we're going to talk about it more as we go through the sessions. But my coaching programs, joining your program, and we're going to talk about that in a minute. We don't want to give away anything yet. But for those of you that are watching and want to be part of the show, this is going to be a 3-segment type show. We're going to different sessions, and we'll give you some information. We're also going to have a special guest. We don't have a special guest today because it was just going to be the two of us.
We're the special guest today.
We're the special guest. Spirit is with us. And in the future, we'll be inviting some of our psychic and intuitive and energy worker friends to join us here at the studio to kind of show what they can do. We've realized over the years that the show is not just about us; it's about energy workers and all the work that we're trying to do out there. Why don't you tell them a little bit about what we're going to be doing today?
All right. So to start out, we're going to, and this is kind of our weekly segment, how we have this set up. We're each going to have a little bit of time to speak about our update for the week. So what you can expect from an astrology perspective from me. I also have dived into trance channeling, and we took an amazing trance channeling course through Lori Camacho out of the Awakenings bookstore in Laguna Hills, and have been channeling for the last 8 months or so. And it's been incredible having such a direct connection with my guides. So my plan is to every week be able to speak to the astrology of the moment, what to expect for the upcoming week, to prep you to know what to expect. And then any messages that my guides may have to assist with that. And then I know after I'm done, Daniel will be sharing his alignment update. So he will get you in alignment with his alignment system, which is spectacular. I've had the opportunity to receive alignment sessions with him. I know it's been very impactful in so many ways. So that's going to be his way of that, as well as any other intuitive messages he has for you guys for the upcoming week. And then we'll dive deeper into a conversation. And from there, we will open it up to the readings, to do readings for you guys by commenting me in the comments. And so that way we can continue to hold space for you. And then at the end, we'll give you an opportunity to find out what we're doing, what we have coming up events-wise, if you wanted to join us, whether in person or online, or also ways that you can connect with us to deepen that. So if you get a message from us in that short reading that we do for you, it'll be a great opportunity for you to connect with us and book us for a service to be able to dive deeper and hopefully provide you with the more of that spiritual support that you're needing so that you can move forward from whatever you are either being challenged by, what you're wanting to manifest, what you're wanting to bring in. We are so happy to be here and be able to hold space beyond just this show.
Excellent. And as Wayne was saying, the show's moved up to an hour and a half, so you have us for 90 minutes. If we don't have a lot to say, we're going to cut our parts short and make sure that we have enough time to do readings. So make sure you share this with your friends. Post it on your page. Call your mom, call your sister, call your grandma, call your brothers and cousins and tell them that we're doing readings again. But we used to do the show on Fridays. Now we're going to be on Mondays. And we thought that this was a great way to get your week started. Instead of waiting till the end of the week to give you the messages, how about we give them to you at the beginning of the week, and that way you can start. And as Wayne was saying, he'll be doing his channeling and his astrology stuff. And I will be doing some mini alignments for those of you that are familiar with it. The alignment is a transpersonal coaching program that I do. It's designed to eliminate barriers that are holding you back. This is going to be just a mini session. So make sure you grab some pen and paper because you might need this. Or if you want to record this, or if you want to come back and rewatch it, whatever you like. But take notes and get ready to just get energized, I guess. Yeah.
Yes.
Are you ready?
I am ready. Yes. Let's jump right in. So I will at some point in the near future actually channel live. But at this point, I kind of just wanted to share what I have been experiencing. I have been doing consistent readings with clients. I see anywhere from 5 to 15, 20 clients in a week. And it is fascinating to me as a reader to see and hear the themes that come up. So a lot of times, even if people come in, they want to focus on career, they want to focus on relationships, they want to focus on XYZ, there's common themes. And again, I know that that is tied to the astrology of the moment, the planets all kind of broadcasting their energies and impacting us to a certain degree. And then there's, of course, our own personal astrology, our own kind of map and makeup of how we are here in this incarnation and what we can expect as far as our strengths, our challenges, what we may encounter in this lifetime. So it's been fascinating. And the theme that we've had, especially over the last year, but over the last 3 months, astrologically, there has been a lot of energy around bringing forward corruption. So this is at a world stage. So obviously we've seen there's been some corruption that has been brought forward with certain celebrities. I won't name names. I'm sure you know who they are. And corruption in government, and corruption in a lot of different ways. And this isn't just on the world stage, but it's also for ourselves. So over the last 3 months, especially, there has been the inner corruption. So things that are old traumas, things that are old issues for us that we have still not completely been able to address, heal, transmute, transform. Those are the things that have been popping up over the last 3 months. And really, it's gotten intense now. We just stepped into the Sun in Scorpio season, which Scorpio being the sign of death and rebirth. So the universe has basically just been pumping up our lives with more energy, whether it's our trauma and issues, or it's our relationships that are serving us, people in our lives that are serving us, the things that we're doing, the job that we have. The universe is pumping more and more energy. So that way we can be aware of what exactly is, like, am I banging my head against the wall with? And that is something to be looking at this time. And using this Sun in Scorpio energy is really going to help you to identify what that is and more easily lift that up from your energy, address it, clear it, and transmute it. So this is really the time to look at, what am I most triggered by? Where are my emotions hitting me the hardest? And seeing where the roots of that is from. So when was the last time I felt this? When was the first time I felt this? Looking all the way back into my past and history. It's very likely with the astrology from the last couple of years that a lot of that is tied to your upbringing, to your childhood, to your teenage years. And this is really the time that we are stepping forward. There's quite a few astrologers I also follow on different social media, on YouTube, and they all have been resounding this theme that this is us stepping out of the life we were born to and out of the karma we were born to, addressing it and moving more into the life that we are here to create, what we've come into with this intention for. So this really is the time for it. I also wanted to speak a little bit about Pluto. I'm sure those of you who do follow astrology know that Pluto has been in Capricorn since 2008. At the end of last year, it shifted into Aquarius. And so Pluto is the energy of the world stage, what's happening on the world stage. And it's also the planet of death and rebirth. So with that, when we have Pluto broadcasting the energy of Capricorn, it represents power for power's sake. It's the Daniel being a Capricorn himself, the goat. It is the sign of work. It is the boss. But when it is taken to that power extreme, it really is people having control. So there's control in systems, corporate control, governmental control. And that is the energy that's being broadcasted and supported by Pluto. But with it shifting into Aquarius, then the focus becomes more about that Aquarius energy, which is about ascension, growth, spiritual tools, community, and making things better from a higher perspective. So with Pluto stepping into that Aquarius energy, it was there for the first part of this year, but it has recently retrograded back into Capricorn. It has since gone direct in the last week, and it will be going direct. And on November 20th, it will be direct in Aquarius. So it'll move into Aquarius, and it will not be in Capricorn again for another 230 something years. It takes 248 years for Pluto to make its way all the way around the sun. So we are stepping into our Pluto in Aquarius era, which will happen basically from that time until 2044. So then Pluto will be broadcasting this energy of Aquarius, community, spiritual growth, spiritual community, spiritual tools. There'll be advancements in technology for the sake of growing and ascending us individually and as a collective. So with all of that being said, basically there's going to be some craziness now, because for us to get to this more ideal Aquarian age with Pluto, it's not the age of Aquarius, but Aquarian energy in Pluto, we have to be able to release what's been holding us back. And that's that energy that Scorpio has been paying attention to, especially since we've stepped into Sun in Scorpio. But over the last 3 or 4 months, it's definitely intensified. So this is the time for you to acknowledge what is holding you back. What emotionally do you keep hitting your head against the wall with? And asking the universe for more understanding, more support, more tools so that you can clear that out, so that when we move forward into this Aquarius energy into December, January, February, we're going to be in much more fertile ground for moving forward. And the focus will be, instead of power for power's sake and having control, it's about what impact can I make? Making an impact with intention, and knowing you're making an impact is going to bring that abundance back into you. So that has been a key message, I would say, for almost all of my clients, if not all of my clients, especially over the last 3 months. And it trips me out. It continues to amaze me how clients coming in are so affected by this energy. And what's wonderful is, even today, I had a new client come in, and they weren't really having any struggles, any issues. And in tapping into their energy intuitively, I realized they've really done that work. They've done that work of their corruption has been addressed, and it has been cleared out. And so now this is really a time for them to, I don't want to say sit back and relax, but to be able to know they've done their work, and they're not going to have all of this turmoil. They're going to be feeling like they're in a really good place. And then it's really about planting seeds of, what do I want to manifest coming into the future? What do I want to have show itself to me that's going to serve me for my highest good? Or even asking the universe to help show me what's going to be for my highest good. I'm not sure what direction I want to head in. What should I do? So no matter where you're at on that spectrum, know that this is the time where energies are intense. Energies are intensified. And so with that, whatever you can do to bring that self-awareness forward, there's all kinds of modalities, all kinds of practices, different ways, and utilizing intuitives as well. Intuitives are a great way for you to see those kind of blind spots that maybe you're not seeing yourself. And it usually happens in a way that feels so magical, right? Because with intuitives, it's likely that you'll sit down in front of them and they'll be able to pick up on what those issues are. So it gives you that kind of boost in belief that, oh, okay, if they see it, I know it's there. So being able to utilize some tools and utilize them to help you to clear each of those items out. So With that said, that is really what I wanted to share. A lot of that astrological information too has been resounded by my guides that I do channel. And what I will say is one of my main guides that I've been channeling since I started the study and the practice of it is Leland, Leland. And they have been extremely helpful for me in not just identifying these astrological influences, but it's like I have my own spiritual coach, my own spiritual guide that can come forward and help me to understand different aspects of my life and how these apply. But also they are here to be of service to whoever I hold space for as well too. So they are really here to be a teacher as well, be a mentor. So I will be adding into my offerings very soon my channeled sessions as well too. Currently, I still just offer the intuitive tarot readings, but I am so excited to be able to bring this in as another tool and to assist with just bringing more awareness, which is really my goal at the end of the day. So with that said, Daniel, I am ready for you to take it over.
Awesome. And we're looking at some messages on Instagram. Mr. R. Palomino, who's a dear friend of mine. And actually, it's really interesting that he's commenting. Roger Palomino is one of my best friends out of Houston. And he's the person that introduced me to tarot cards back in 2008. So he is responsible for this.
He did this.
Yeah, so if you ever want to blame anybody, blame Palomino for the creation.
Good job.
Of this.
Good job.
And he's commenting that yes, absolutely, he has some intense energy. Let me tell you, the last couple of days before I jump into my session, the last couple of days have been really like when I normally am like ready to go on Mondays. For those of you that are part of my check-in list, I check in with people every Monday morning, and I'm usually up at 6 for the East Coast people, and I'm ready to go, and I'm happy. I'm like Snow White in the mornings, like, good morning, sun. Good morning, birds. La, la, la. But today was like, bleh, like
Shrek.
Somebody turn off the sun. I'm not ready for that today. But we'll talk about that in a little bit as we have our chat. So while Wayne rests for a little bit, we're going to talk a little bit about the alignment. For those of you that are aware, I've a lot of my friends know about the alignment. It's a transpersonal coaching program that I created. It started about 6-7 years ago, and just the last couple of years, I've been doing the conference circuit, particularly in the health environment, working with healthcare professionals, talking about burnout, but also talking to patients, clients about breaking down those barriers that cause health burnout or client burnout. But it's also a tool to break down barriers that are holding you back from succeeding personally or professionally. So the session we're going to do today is only a quick session. So if you have a pen and paper with you, if you're able to use it, if not, come back and review the video. But the idea is to identify something that you believe is holding you back. And then through a deck of cards that I created, these are just 7 of the cards that I just pulled. I pulled these randomly before the show started, just to cut down on time. But the session would be one-on-one or in a group setting. And the card would be determined by somebody in the group who picks the number from 1 to 9. So here's how we're going to do this. For those of you watching, if you're sitting down at a desk or you have a pen and paper, I want you to, number 1, I want you to put the date. I want you to put today's date and time on your piece of paper. And a lot of people ask me why it's important. Well, I want you to know today's date so that you can go back. If you look at this paper a month from now, 6 months from now, you can go back and identify how your energy was today. Why is the time important? Because if you're like me, if you're a morning person, mornings is a great time to meditate, to pray, to connect. If you're not a morning person, then don't do it in the morning because your energy is not going to be into it. You're not going to connect. So if you're more of a night owl, so night is the time for you to connect to your spirit guides, to your energy. That's when you can meditate better. And we have some comments. I'm going to try the comments. Hola, Maricruz, ¿cómo estás? Saludos. So so now that you've written down the date and time, I want you to write down, is there a barrier that you feel is holding you back? For me, it's usually imposter syndrome. That's my constant. I always feel like I'm not good enough. I don't know enough. I'm not enough. So usually for me, imposter syndrome is my barrier. So what is the barrier that you feel is holding you back right now? So number one, we're going to pick, I already picked the words. We're going to do 7 words. And at the end, we're going to create a mantra. So word number one for you is fear. What is it that you're fearing? What is it that you fear when it comes to your barrier? Sometimes we're afraid to break down the barrier because then it gives us responsibility to be better, to do more. People will expect more from you. So word number one is fear. And how does that affect your barrier? Word number two, intimacy. How does intimacy affect your barrier? And intimacy doesn't have to be like a sexual thing. It could be being intimate with yourself. Sometimes we're so afraid of being by ourselves. Does that make sense? We're so afraid of being by ourselves that we just don't have those conversations. We don't talk to ourselves. We go find other things to do so that the fear of intimacy could be stopped, be brought of your barrier. Excuse me. And that intimacy is what causes us to, I'll raise my hand, be a workaholic, volunteer a lot, use our time for everything except to deal with our own issues. Word number three is clarity. Are you being clear with yourself? This is the power. This is your solar plexus. Are you clear with what your power is? Are you clear with how you're sharing your power? Who's taking your power? Because giving away too much power can stop you from having those intimate moments, and that can cause some fear. Okay, word number four. Word number four is behaviors. This is your intake. This is your heart chakra. What behaviors are you doing that are stopping you from having the clarity and being intimate and letting go of fears? And behaviors can be anything. It could be addictions. Most of the times they're addictions. And we all have some form of addiction. So what is the addiction? What is the behavior? Are you going back to people? Are you going back to places? Are you going back to things that are stopping you from moving forward? Word number 5 is expression. This is your voice, your throat chakra. Do you know how to express yourself? First to yourself and then to other people. Have you learned? Because sometimes we're really hard on ourselves. We don't talk to ourselves like we're our best friends. We talk to ourselves like we're our worst enemy. So how are you expressing yourself? And is that affecting your behaviors? Because if I keep telling myself, I'm dumb, I'm useless, I'm not worth it, then my behaviors are going to act towards that. Is that making sense for you? I hope so. Number 6, perspective. What's your perspective on your life, on the people, places, and things around you? What's your perspective on your personal and professional? Are you seeing things clearly? And if you're not, is that affecting the way you express yourself? And then number 7, are you understanding? This is your crown chakra. This is the messages coming from the universe. Are you understanding the messages that life, the universe, God are sending you? Because if we get the messages, but we're not understanding what they want us to do, we might be going in different directions. We might be taking detours. Like, what is going on? So now that you have the 7 words, I'm going to go over them again so that you can get all 7. Word number 1 was fear. Word number 2 was intimacy. Word number 3 was clarity. Word number 4 was behavior. Word number 5, expression. 6 is perspective. And 7 is understanding. So now we're going to put all these together and make a little mantra. This is your mantra for the week to help you break down that barrier that you wrote down at the top. So let's put this together. This is where the intuitive part comes in. So as I told you, the alignment is part logic, part spiritual. So the spiritual part is selecting the cards at random. The logical part is knowing where they go and why they're there. And then intuitive again, or transpersonal, is putting them both together to create a mantra for you. And every week we're going to go through a new alignment. So make sure that you come back every Monday for a new alignment for yourself. So a positive mantra to break down that. Facing my fears and being intimate with myself will give me clarity to change my behaviors and adjust the way I express myself so I can change my perspective and understand life better. Did that make sense? And then the other way around is understanding the messages that are coming to me will help me adjust my perspective so I can express myself better, change my behaviors, and find the clarity in those intimate moments with myself to let go of fear. Does that make sense? I hope that made sense. Remember, if you missed it, if you lost it, because these are intuitive, so I don't have anything written down, so I'm gonna have to go back and rewatch this. But if you missed it, go back and rewatch the video when we're done, so you can get those words again. Again, every week I'm gonna bring Wayne back into the studio. Every week we're gonna be going through a new alignment. Wayne is gonna be doing some more messaging, and all for you guys, so that way you can start your week off on a good foot, on the right foot. Yes, that's what happens when you don't have a script.
I love it. No, well, and what's great too, I think, obviously you'll probably think to do this, but posting it once we put it back together, because it was intuitive. Even as you were saying it, I was like, I'm trying to write it, but I didn't have enough time to write it all. But great for you to be able to post that, so that way anyone, be sure to follow Daniel on his Instagram, and it'd be a great way every week to have that posted so people know exactly what that mantra is to focus on moving forward. Because for myself, I did it as well too, and totally makes sense for what I feel like has been holding me back, what I've been needing to focus on. So I am aligned. I'm excited to utilize this moving forward into the week.
And if you want to, please share what you think is your barrier. What was the barrier you wrote down? If you want to put that on the chat, and then we'll come back and break those down for you a little bit more. We have a couple of minutes before we break into readings. Palomino was agreeing with you about the energy. When the energy is affecting us this way, what can we do to balance ourselves out?
Absolutely. So what I would say is there's a lot of ways to approach it, right? There's a lot of different modalities, ways of thinking, schools of thought, and being able to identify and address things. For me, loving astrology, I think it's also important for you to understand your own chart, your own makeup, because when these certain types of, at any point where planets are in our solar system affecting us, because of our own makeup in things, we may be triggered more. So you may have one person who is going to be more heavily affected by the energies at this time, like Scorpios, because there's a lot of Scorpio energy out there. And that's not just Sun Scorpio. It's anywhere in your chart. You have a bunch of different placements for each planet that may affect you. So some people may be deeply affected by what's happening right now. Some people may be not as affected. But I will say, more so than ever, this time, this year, this is much more vibed up energy. There are huge moves happening with the astrology. So it's likely that more people are going to be more deeply impacted by the specific theme that I spoke to at this time. So for myself, one of the things that I would recognize is, like I said, it's what is coming up for you emotionally that is making you hit your head against the wall and just feeling like, I don't know what to do. I feel like I've tried to heal this. I've tried to talk to a therapist about it. I've tried to do this. I've tried to do that. I've tried to pray about it. I've tried to do X, Y, Z. So for me, I have really become a proponent of connecting with the universe. So if that's God to you, if that's, whatever, if there's a deity, an archetype that you connect with, for me, it's just thinking of like the higher version of myself, the highest expression, my spiritual self, and being able to put it out to the universe and saying, universe, I recognize that I am struggling with this issue. I'm struggling with this relationship. I don't understand why this person keeps showing up in my life, why the energy of this person keeps showing up in my life. Please allow me to understand why this is coming up. Please allow me the tools to come forward so that I can better deal with, acknowledge, and clear out the situation so that I can move forward. So that's one very basic, rudimentary way of being able to really just call on the universe, because I would also say it's speaking it out loud. When we have our thoughts in our head, they come out very differently than we have to speak, right? So for me, there's this kind of like tension that we have too of like speaking out loud to myself feels weird. It feels strange, but that's powerful. That's being able to step into your authority and understand when I speak, the universe listens, my higher self listens too. So simply setting an intention like that and being open to what comes through, that's one way of dealing with it. One other way that I've been diving more into, I'm taking an NLP certification course, and I've been loving doing kind of meditations of going into my own sacred space, visualizing myself in a nature aspect, and basically calling in my spiritual support, calling in my guides, my angels, my higher self, and visualizing them coming forward and being able to say, hey, this situation keeps showing up in my life, and it's as if I'm there having that conversation with them and being open to what comes through. And while I do that, I will always have a notepad available. So that way, as I have insights that come in, I am basically communing with my spiritual support from a visual, in my mind perspective. And that can be very powerful. You may not hear the words that they have to say, but there'll be a knowing, there'll be an understanding, depending on what your clairs are. If you're clairaudient, if you're clairvisual, if you're, whatever you may be in your expression of your intuitive senses, that's how that's going to come through. So that would be two ways I would say that I utilize, especially lately, in, for me, understanding what is it that this situation keeps bringing up for me. What is it about this situation, and why can't I seem to let it go? So doing either of those things is going to help invite in spirit, invite in the universe to assist you further. And then for all of you out there who are listening to this, who have said, the energies are intense, you're in the right place, because you have Daniel and I here, who will be of support to be able to tap in, do some intuitive work for you, and see if we can't give you not only some clarification on why that's coming up or what that is, but then also, I know we're both big advocates of giving you tools to be able to move forward. So that's how I would say is the best way from a starter's perspective of addressing these energies as they come up, whether it's this time of year or whether it's, moving forward 6 months.
Awesome. So the way this works, for those of you that are new to the show, if you have not been here before, the way we play here is, all you do is type me in the chat, whether you're on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube, either mine or Wayne's, and then or on Instagram, type me, and we'll put you in line. And while the me's start coming in, I found something that talks about your colors and the month you were born in. So while people come online and say me, Wayne, what's your birth month?
July.
All right. So for everybody, if you're January, as we're going through these changes, a caramel color is good for you. If you're February, some lilac colors would be good for your energy. If you are March, some aqua colors would be good. If you're April, anything in the red cayenne color palette is good. That deep red earthy color. If you're May, greens, but the bud greens, the light greens are good for you. If you are June, anything in the gold colors, those deep yellows, those now that the leaves are changing color. For July, anything in the blush department is good for you. It reminded me of Steel Magnolias. Anything blush or bashful would be good for you.
Yes.
So anything in the blush or bashful colors will be good for you. August, anything in the orange, in that deep sun orange color is something you can look for. September, anything in the blues, anything in those green blue mixture of colors. October is cerulean, and that reminded me of Devil Wears Prada. Cerulean color, so that darkest blue that almost looks purplish. November, anything in the ruby red color, not the muted red from the other month, but that more vibrant red. And then for December, for me, it's the pagoda blue, which is kind of like a baby powder blue, not necessarily the Tiffany blue, but along that lines of color. So for those of you that are looking to see what color right now works for you as the energies are shifting, those are the colors. And again, if you missed them, go back and rewatch the video. And again, all you got to do is type me in your comment section, and we will pull some cards for you. Whoever.
What's really cool that I like about that too is we think about color. Colors of spectrum, colors of vibration. So it makes sense that, in general, colors that we wear are going to affect our energy, affect our expression. So I love that that you found something that's breaking that down even for up to this moment, and helping you to build upon bringing out more positive aspects with those energies. So that's cool.
Yeah. Well, I remember, I've taken a lot of workshops and courses throughout the years. I think we've both been practicing about the same amount, right? Like going 12 years now. Because we started at the same time, basically. It's always about the colors, is that yes, the energy affects you, but there's always a balance, and whatever the universe throws at me, I can counterbalance that and go, okay, all right, I know you're gonna kick my butt this week, but let me at least press for it and be. I think that's why I wore mushrooms today. No, nothing. Mushrooms and yellows to just yeah. For the if you know, you know. All right, we got Palomino. Do you want to take? Since I know Roger is a good friend of mine, I'll let you take Roger. Let me put his knee up here. Oops. Give me 1 second, and
gives me time to shuffle. All right, so just shuffling, tapping into your energy, and let's see what we have going on for you. I know you said the energies are intense with my astrology update, so I can tell you already the spread is speaking to that. So at the heart of your spread, you have the Knight of Swords reversed. So I would say you're in a period where I would say it's likely you are really trying to solve your problems with your mind and not bringing in your heart and your emotions and your intuition to solving your problem. It feels like at this point, and I know Daniel said, you brought him into tarot, so you obviously have that spiritual awareness, but it seems like whatever you are facing at this time, you're really trying to just solve it from that mental perspective, and you're not bringing in your heart or your intuition with it. And what this is doing is this is creating a blockage for you around receiving abundance. You have the Empress as your crossing card. So there's this sense of, I would say you have an understanding of how you're wanting to feel, what you're wanting to manifest coming into the future, but you are definitely feeling like it is outside of your reach. It is not something that you're able to reach entirely at this time. And again, this is that sense of it's crossing your mental feeling like all I can do to solve the problem is use my mind, but there's much more there for you. What's also interesting, your theme card, you have the Strength card reversed. So this would tell me that past, present, future, that you really have been, I would say, feeling disempowered maybe to a degree of solving this problem. With the astrology that I spoke to, the issues that we're dealing with right now, it's not just like, oh, this came up last year and I'm dealing with it now. This is like old stuff. This is childhood stuff. This is teenage years, formative years that I have been struggling. So in this way, it feels like you don't have the strength to persevere, but you really do. It just feels overwhelming because a lot of likely what you're experiencing or the root of the issue that you're dealing with right now is really having to deal with your childhood or your upbringing. So it feels like it's overwhelming because that's how everything felt when we were young, especially when we're dealing with those issues. Past influences affecting your present, you have the Five of Pentacles. So that would tell me there's a sense of homelessness or not feeling like you're at home or feeling at home. So again, looking to the past, looking to your childhood, that's likely part of the theme that you have been dealing with now. Present influences, you have the Four of Wands reversed. So you have a community of support around you. You have those ways around you. And I would say it feels like those around you understand, but you don't necessarily share everything that's on your mind or especially on your heart right now. But you have a community of support around you. It's important that you start speaking more about what are you feeling challenged by so that the people that are around you, they feel like they know well, they feel like they'll be able to share some knowledge with you. So share it from more than just your mental perspective. And in doing so, you're going to be able to address a lot of these past traumas. You have the Three of Swords in your future influences card position. So it's really important that you speak to this about people that you care about and trust, and that will give you more of an ability to understand not only what it is that's at the root of this blockage for you at this time, but it will also help you to have tools of people who know and understand you that can help you work through it and to be an emotional support to you too. So, a couple other things before I let you go. What you're focused on, you have, again, the Page of Swords. So, this is interesting. You have the Knight of Swords as your heart of the situation, and what you're focused on is the Page of Swords. So, you're really trying to use your mind to solve this problem, but it isn't a problem that can be solved by the mind. What the universe is giving you in the situation is the Hierophant reversed. So I feel like there's some new spiritual practices that you could be doing that will help you to better understand the situation and move past it. What you've been doing, it's not that it's not effective for you, it's not that it doesn't work, but this is really a time for you to dive into new practices, and you're going to be able to shift your perspective more. It requires a new way of looking and thinking. And in doing so, your outcome card, you have the Two of Swords. So you're going to be releasing yourself from that self-restriction, from those beliefs that were created back from that childhood trauma, back from those childhood issues that are really at the root of what's affecting you now. So be more open to the people around you about what you're going through, not just from a mental perspective, and allow yourself to know that this is the time that you're dealing with some deep-rooted issues, deep-rooted trauma, and that is only going to help you in being able to move forward. And I will leave you with that.
Sweet. I hope that helped, Palomino. I love you. Thank you for joining us today. We have a special guest. Christian is here with me today, but he's requesting from you, of course, because he's, for those of you watching, he's my boyfriend, and I only read for him on occasions. But basically, when his energy is driving me crazy, I'm like, here, sit down. Let me pull for you. So, do you mind pulling for him?
Absolutely. Happy to. So, just connecting with your energy. And we are off to the races. All right. And it's an honor to get to hold space for you again, Christian. I know it's been a while since gotten to read for you and see you, but it's always an honor to get to connect with you, even if it's in energy and online. Okay, so let's take a look and see what we have here for you. Oh, okay, I like this. So, Heart of the Spread, you have the Magician. If you're watching Agatha all along, this was Joe Locke's character card, and I love the way that they spoke to it, that it's really about being able to create, being able to manifest, being able to know that you have the tools now to support you in moving forward with whatever your vision is, whatever it is that you want to move forward with, whatever you're wanting to create in your life. You're really coming from that perspective, and you have the ability to do so. It's likely that if you are feeling challenged or blocked in what you're wanting to manifest, there is something that you may be missing from a mental perspective. Is this going to serve my highest good if I actually have this come through? Why am I wanting this so badly? What is it that I want to bring forward with this? So if you are feeling a little bit blocked in your manifesting, I would say look at those things. From what it looks like with your other cards, it looks like you are you've had a fresh start as of late. Your past influences card, you have the Fool, which is about new beginnings, bringing along your old, what you need to bring along to your new situation. So with that being in the past, that tells me that there's been something that has occurred for you recently that has refreshed your path, refreshed your excitement for life, for moving forward. But with that, the card that's crossing you, your current challenge, is the Queen of Swords. So this is kind of like the reading that I just did. There's an energy of really feeling blocked mentally. So there's this energy of feeling like I need to be able to solve the problem with my mind and my mind only. And I'm going to give you kind of that same advice of you need to bring in your heart and your emotions to your situation as well, too, because you're really thinking about your manifestations only from a mental perspective. And that's really what's at the heart of this, is what you're wanting to bring more of in. And when you want to manifest, I will say one of the key ways to go about it is not just using the mind, but the mind is the jumping board. It's the jumping off point that gets you into the feeling of what it is that you would feel like if you received what you're wanting to receive. So for you as well, it's that sense of really knowing that I need to feel it as if it's already happening, not just think about what I want and tell the universe this is what I want from that mental perspective. Your theme card right now that you have is the Four of Swords, and it is reversed. So this would tell me that with the Four of Swords, that with this new beginning, this fresh start, this new way of operating coming in, there's still somewhat a sense of dissatisfaction. And it's not that you're not happy with what you have been doing, but there is this sense of, I would say, does this feel like it has longevity? So I would say it feels like there is that sense, but is it a way there that you could maybe bring in more or layer on other sense of moonlighting or a different something else? Because it feels like right now you're so focused on just one way of being, one way of moving forward, And it seems like there's more opportunities for you to look to other places. So I feel like there's excitement about what you've started as of late, but that may come to a burnout somewhat time soon. So it's really about looking at, does this have longevity in what I'm wanting to do and the way that I'm wanting to feel on a daily basis in my manifestations? And whether it's you're wanting to manifest career, wanting to manifest more friendships, more connections in that way. It's really about looking at it from that perspective. With your current influences, you have the Strength card reversed. So there is some question around, again, this gives me that longevity. And with moving into the future, it's really about knowing that you are discovering your own truth for yourself and really living by your truth and your standards. And that's what's really going to get you to that place of feeling like you are manifesting what is going to serve you, and what's coming in is something that is not only enjoyable, but it's going to give you that abundance, whether it's in money form, whether it's in joy, happiness, emotions, whatever that may be. So with that, what's really interesting, what you're focused on is the Knight of Cups. And with the Knight of Cups, this would be, you're really focused when it comes up, when the emotions are coming up, they're coming up from a heavier perspective. And the universe is highlighting that. That's kind of that Scorpio energy I was talking about. So you're probably going through it from an emotional perspective right now. But whatever it is that's coming up, what I had said previously before we started the readings, go back and listen to that and see if there's ways that you can speak to the universe or go into what I call your sacred space in meditation, bring forward your spiritual support and ask them for advice on what can I do to feel more satisfied with what I'm doing, with what I'm wanting. And the universe is wanting you to dive more deeply into your intuitive gifts. I know you're an incredible medium. So there's that. But there's an opportunity for you to connect more, I would say, with your guides, your higher self, and get more guidance from them directly about how can you move forward. Because I feel like you have the groundwork laid out. The mundane is there, but there needs to be a little bit more of your heart and your emotions coming into it. So I will leave you with that.
Awesome. Thank you. By the way, for everybody, share this with your friends, family.
When you care about.
Yeah. Maybe even somebody that you don't care about so they can get their energy cleansed. We've got 3 people on hold, so I'm going to go with Madeline right now. And then we've got Charlie and Laura, so don't go anywhere. So I'll take Madeline. And by the way, Madeline just had a birthday, as we can see on there, 10/26. Happy belated birthday. Madeline's a good friend of mine, good friend of the family. So, all right. I should have been pulling this for you as I was talking, right? But, all right, Madeline. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow, and here yesterday, we're talking about the door to spirit, and it's upside down. So it tells me that there was a little moment there where we were not really connecting spiritually to the things around it. There was a certain disconnect. There was a certain, because it represents you, it was just the trying to find a new path, trying to find a new way, trying to find the new you. And I say this because there is the female energy, the woman holding the heart, and this represents you today. So that's why I'm saying that your spirit and your heart are a little disconnected from some of the things around you. But it starts with refinding yourself. And I say the word refinding. I don't think that's an actual word, but it's about finding out who you are again. The transformation and the changes, particularly coming after a birthday, there's this shift in your energy and figure out who you are. But one of the good things is that the financial constraints, this is tomorrow, the financial constraints is upside down. So it lets me know that we're coming out of those financial constraints. And for everybody listening, for everybody watching, financial security comes in 3 forms. There's mental, there's physical, and there's spiritual. Mental is when you are learning, when you are getting new things into your brain, when you are adapting to new things. Physical is the money, and spiritual is it feeling your soul. So I'm going to go, because of the 3 cards, I'm going to say that we were kind of in a little deficiency spiritually, kind of trying to figure out where you were, and knowing some of the things that have been going on with you. I can see where that is. It's the readjustment. It's finding out who you are, where you are, what you want to do, who you want to be when you grow up. Also, in your spirit card, there is the Archangel Michael. And Archangel Michael is all about the grounding. For everybody, the root chakra, which is Archangel Michael in the root chakra. Let me show you again. It's everything and anything that's anybody has ever said or done to you, it goes into your root chakra. So it's the way we sit on those things. And the reason it's upside down for you is because we weren't sitting right on some things. There was information that came to you from people, places, and things around you that just didn't sit right. So that's why your spirit could have been a little lost and your heart might have been wandering a little bit, because here's the broken heart in your heart space. And it's really interesting because your heart in your heart space feels broken. So the information, the news, the things that happened around you that caused your heart to disconnect a little bit. And then finally, what we need to work on is the thinking part. Is I don't normally say this in readings, but maybe not feel so much and maybe think a little more. The When we feel, it's because it's about us. When we think, it's because it's about other people, and we want to see how we can be of service, how we can help. So it's time to like disconnect the feelings and kind of see from another side. Perspective came up in the alignment earlier. What is your perspective on the situation that is affecting you? So overall, is the door to spirit. Opening up your spirit will heal your heart. But think about what's affecting you and how it's grounding you or affecting your grounding. Pay attention to financial constraints so that you can reconnect with your heart. But overall, I would say is whatever information came to you, whatever information has been new for you, that's been affecting your spirit and your heart, it's get out of your head. You can't fix it. It's not for you to fix. And don't you feel like sometimes we get caught up in that? Because whatever's happening around me, it affects my spirit. I then think that I can fix it. Does that make sense?
Yes, absolutely. Especially you with your Capricorn expression. This is how I solve the problem. This is how I go about it. So it can be challenging that way.
And we had a thank you from Christian, and also Roger sent his thank you.
Beautiful.
All right, you want to go next?
Yes, beautiful. I have Charlie, right?
Yes, so Charlie.
Beautiful. It looks like he has his birthday tomorrow, so that's exciting, Mr. Scorpio. I know you've been with us before on our previous iterations of our show, so welcome back. It's great to see you. I went ahead and already pulled your spread, so I'm going to dive right in. So heart of your spread, heart of your situation right now, you have the Hierophant. So this would tell me, obviously, with this birthday coming up, I know for me, when my birthday comes up, I get really introspective and I kind of look back. What's happened over the last year? Where am I at? Where am I at in age? What am I doing? Am I where I thought I would be? So those kind of thoughts come up and I kind of do that looking back to the past. So what's interesting for you with this card, this would tell me that you're really coming from a space of higher learning, more spiritual perspective. So obviously, since you've tuned in with us before, you already have somewhat of a spiritual mindset, if not a very spiritual mindset, but you're wanting to learn more, grow more, and understand new practices potentially that are coming in. Because you've recognized as your challenge card, you have the devil. Oh, so scary. Not so scary. The devil really represents ego, our shadow self, and really those darker aspects of ourselves. We're afraid to go into our darkness, afraid to go into our shadow. But where our shadow is where our power is. But we can't bring our power out of the shadows unless we know our responsibility with our shadow and with our power. So it's likely that you're having your ego coming up in certain ways where there's fears around seeing yourself clearly, seeing yourself more transparently, more authentically. But I will tell you, authenticity is the best way to get to the root of who you are, to discover what your power is, to discover your responsibility with your power, and being able to move forward. So right now, it's really about you being able to release. Your theme card is the 10 of Wands reversed. So this really is the time for you to let go of what is no longer serving you, what is been holding back. What have you been carrying for others? What have you been carrying for far too long that you no longer need to carry, that is holding you back, that is taking more energy away from you? In your recent past, I would say you've definitely been vibing with the astrological update that I gave, and you've been really working towards leaving behind that emotional situation that's no longer serving you. So for you as a Scorpio and us being in the Scorpio season, this is especially powerful. So the ways in which you have released and let go and walked away from that situation or situations that haven't been serving you, reaffirm that. This is the time to reaffirm that now. And over the next week, we're going to start getting into more of that Scorpio rebirth energy. So just continuing to affirm, I'm letting this go, I'm releasing this, I'm letting this go. And that's really what you're doing in this moment. You have the King of Swords and your present influences. So you're really understanding, okay, where my thoughts are not serving me? What beliefs are not serving me? What ways have I been operating that are obviously getting in the way of what it is that I want to do and who I want to be? And in doing so, what's interesting is your future influences card is the Magician, making another appearance already today. But with the Magician reversed in this future influences, what's interesting to me is what you have been, I would say, over the past 5 years, really working towards. It feels like it was a goal, it was an idea, it was a place where you wanted to be and operate from. I would say you are coming to terms with understanding and recognizing that that is not actually where you want to end up. And that is that sense of the Magician showing that you've been working towards it, but you're starting to realize in the ways that you've been expressing yourself and releasing these emotional situations that that future perspective is not really where you want to be. But I feel like you were really invested in it. So it's almost like this dichotomy of like, I want to move towards that. I want to do this. I want to do this. But then you're like, I don't think this is actually going to serve me. Oh, crap. What do I do with that? So I think that's where this spiritual perspective and wanting more ways of looking at your situation from a new spiritual perspective or modality is what's coming forward for you at this time. So with that being said, know that no matter what you do, no matter how you're focused, as long as you're focusing on what's serving me for my highest good at this time and what do I need to do at this time, that is going to serve you. So it's not wasted time. It's not wasted effort. And the universe is really helping you define value where you didn't necessarily think there was value before, or where you maybe thought value would be somewhere else, but it's right where you are. So letting yourself have that and know that the universe is going to get you right on the right path that you need to be on. You're already on it. It just looks different than you expected it to be. And so through that, you're going to be able to release that judgment about where you're supposed to be. And you're going to realize that every step you've been taking, even though you've been heading towards a goal that isn't necessarily feeling like it's serving you now that you've come to it, you're recognizing that you're right where you need to be and it is going to serve you. And you're going to feel that sense of relief and you'll know really where you stand so that you can start to move forward from that perspective. So I will leave you with that.
Cool. Lots of information. I like when cards make a reappearance.
Mm-hmm. Themes for sure.
Yeah, we used to get that a lot, so I hope we will come. That will happen again.
Keep seeing it. Yes.
All right, and I'll take Laura and give Wayne a little rest. Laura, hi, comadre. For those of you, this is my comadre, our godson's mom. So for you right now, we're starting with your past, and this is about the rest, but it's upside down for you. So it tells me that resting time is over. We're coming into a hectic time in your life. So some of those things that were like on pause, that were going really slow, things weren't really happening. This is a time that clock is going to start going quicker. And hasn't it been going really quick for all of us this year? Like we're already in November. So right now, as things are getting a little busier, a little hectier, I'm making up words today. The angel of strength is coming to and letting you know that it's not a moment to focus on what you're lacking or what your weakness is. It's a moment to focus on what your strengths are. Look at the strengths to make you stronger. I hope some of y'all understand, like sometimes we focus on our weaknesses and we think if I make this weakness stronger, it'll make everything stronger. But it's the strong parts that push us forward. It's like the pickup that pulls the trailer. Focus on the pickup, not the trailer. I hope that makes sense. Also, because we're working on falling in love with you again. The changes that you're trying to make is about the door of romance, but it's about you with you. I don't feel like it's like romance with your partner, with your kids, with other people. It's about falling in love with you again. In your spirit, there is the male energy holding the coin. It's right set up for you. So this is about the male energy influencing your spirit and bringing that financial security. And again, we said this earlier, there's 3 parts to that security. There's mental, there's physical, and there's spiritual. So and I feel like when it's in the spirit space, it's more about the mental financial security and the spiritual. So what does this male energy next to you that is bringing you mental, financial security or spiritual security? In your heart is the happy family. It comes upside down for you. So there's that concern. I feel like we're not resting because we're so concentrated on where the family unit is going, where how it's evolving, the things that concern you. But just know that your strengths are the ones that are going to help you overcome it. If you keep looking at what you're lacking, we're never going to move forward. So let's use that strength to move you forward. And then finally, this is what we need to work on you. And it's about the heart. It's like the previous reading with Madeline is about, the thinking. For you, it's like really tap back into your heart. Acknowledge the feelings. Hold the feelings. Because a lot of times we don't want to. A lot of times the feelings come to us and we want to just grab them and toss them over. And I'll get Wayne's opinion in just a minute. But a lot of times we feel like if we sit in the feelings too long, it's going to take away from our strengths. But that's not always the case. If I don't acknowledge that I'm not feeling well, that I'm not doing well, then I can't fix it. Like when I were talking at the beginning of the show, I'm not feeling great today, and I just couldn't figure out how to fix it. So I took a nap. that kind of did the job. So make sure that you rest, because the family's going to take up your time, and that's where your heart's going to be, in conjunction with this male energy that's holding the coin, which is going to make you fall in love all over again with you and the other people. But focus on your strengths, and that's what's going to help you. Wrong button. Let me pull up some of the messages that came up. Thank you, Wayne, so much. Okay, that's from you. Charlie says, thank you so much. Laura says, I agree with everything. I'd love to hear what Wayne's opinion is too. Yeah, we'll talk about that in just a second. And then Madeline sent a thank you. It's over on Instagram. But what I was just talking about right now, about a lot of people assume that just saying that I'm feeling great all the time is going to make everything great. But it's kind of like a pothole. I don't know what you think about it. It's like, here's my description. It's like a pothole in the street. To just keep saying that there's a pothole in the middle of the street is not going to fix it. We have to actually go in there and do the work and fix it and make it better. Because I feel like a lot of folks that I talk to, when I say, how you feel? I'm like, well, I'm not feeling great today. They're like, no, you just say everything's going to be great. I'm like, well, if I don't fix what's wrong, what's the purpose? You know what I mean? Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And what I would say to that too is there is that sense of, and it's interesting how it's been coming up. I know my first couple of readings was really about there's too much thinking. You need to bring in your heart, your feelings, your emotions with it. So it's important, I always feel like, to have that balance between your mind and your emotions. And then when you have that balance, you can bring it into your heart and it is balanced. So then you have a balanced perspective that's not just mental, that's not just emotional, because like you said, if we're too emotional, if we're too in our emotions about something, then that is going to only have it be one-sided, where we're just feeling it so much that we can't take mental action. We can't understand the best way to act on it. So a lot of times what I'll share with my clients when I feel like they're either favoring one or the other, I always think it's important to go to the mind first. So that may be me and my Virgo ascendant, although I have my Cancer sun. But what I will tell my clients is, you've thought about the situation, right? So if you favor your mind, you've thought it through. What I would tell them to do is to literally take your hand, imagine you're pulling that idea, energy out of your head and put it into your stomach. Your stomach is your feeling center. That's where our power is. That's where our intuition is. That's where our stomach literally has, I think it's just as many nerve endings as our brain. That's why we go with our gut feelings. So it's taking it out of there and putting it into here so that we can then feel, okay, I've thought about, how do I feel about that? Oh, actually, I don't think that this feels very good. This idea that I've come up with, no, that's not good at all. So then it's okay. I need to think about something new. So it's bringing that new thought in, letting it be fully formed, pulling that in. And then once it goes into your stomach, then it's, oh, okay, this feels good. This feels like I feel like I'm in alignment with it. My emotions feel good about it. Then it's bringing it up to your heart and taking action from that space. So that way it's not just about the mind taking action, because if we're working just from the mind, that's only giving us one level of the situation. So you got to bring in those emotional parts. And if your emotions are what's taking up too much, then it's doing that kind of opposite way. Bring your emotions out. This is the situation. This is how I feel about it. Now I'm plopping it into my head. How does that feel? What thoughts can I come up with that help me to understand, to sort, to identify these emotions and come up with a plan for it, and then bringing that into my heart? So it depends on what you favor, but I would say with what you said too, it's about balance, right? Sometimes it's about other people, sometimes it's about ourselves, and it's about finding that balance between our thoughts and our feelings and finding that balance is going to give us the way to kind of see forward and to take action to fix that pothole.
Yeah. There's you touched into what, if I can add to it, is I call them the three lower chakras. The intake, which is the heart, which is taken in. I always tell people, you've heard the term, you're taking this to heart, because we take all the information in. And then the way that I teach it is, once it hits that little receptionist that's sitting in our heart, it'll decide which department it goes to, either your power, your solar plex, your sacral, which is your balance, or your root, which is your foundation. And I tell people, when I receive information from somebody, the big information, not necessarily how many tacos do you want, but how
although important.
Although that's very important, which I'm thinking of tacos tonight. But when people give you information either with their actions or with their words, and you intake that information, now you have to decide, is that information giving me power or is it taking it away? Is it bringing balance or taking it away? And is it going to affect my root chakra? Will I be able to sit good on it? Or is like, when you get information, it's like, well, that didn't sit well with me. Well, because it goes down to your root chakra. So and this goes for everybody that we've read for tonight, because I feel like everybody got information that's affecting the decisions they're going to make in their future. As you are receiving this information and you take it into your heart, is it giving you or taking your power away? Is it balancing you or taking it away? And can you sit with that information, or does it feel uncomfortable? And then you decide what you do with it. And obviously, if it's taking your power away, if it's throwing you off balance, and it doesn't sit well with you, then we need to figure out a way to push that energy back out. And that's acknowledging, I don't feel well. This doesn't feel right. And that's what as I'm listening, I'm like, so now I have to process my own information. It's like, what is going on with me that is not sitting well with me? And as usual,
there's always a message for yourself in there, isn't there?
In it though,
universe and its divine intelligence.
Like, hello? No, I think it's wrong number. What do you mean it's for me? Are you sure?
No, that's not for me. Can I just say too, it's so your Capricorn that you feel that there's a receptionist in your heart that's ready to take it to a different department. That is like such a Capricorn expression of that. And I love it because it works. It totally makes sense. I totally agree with it. But I just wanted to say that's part of what makes you the GOAT for sure.
And by the way, for everybody watching, like, our title is switched, just so you know. He's the crab, I'm the GOAT. Yeah.
It's opposite.
Well, we have about 20 minutes to go. You want to go ahead and I'll bring up your announcements of what's going on with you?
Sure. Actually, before we do that, what I want to speak to for a moment, I'll give kind of one of my major life updates. So I know in the past I've talked about, and this is obviously affecting you too, Daniel. I've been a Reihu Tech practitioner for 12, 13 years or so. I got trained on level 1, attuned on level 1 about 12 years ago. After a few years, did level 2. And then at the end of last year, me and one of my other best friends, Iris, we had decided to do the adept level or the mastery level of the Reihu Tech modality. And so we decided to do that together. And in doing so, it was such an honor, such a gift that Alan Burns, who was one of the co-founders that brought this energy modality to present time, he asked us if we wanted to be able to bring it to the world, to be able to attune others, to teach them how to use it, to certify them in how to use it. And it has been such an amazing tool in my tool belt for healing, for myself, for others. There's so many ways that it works. And so through this opportunity at the end of last year, Iris and I have basically started what we call Ascension Tech Institute. So it is our institute where we will be offering spiritual technology courses, workshops, events, all of those things to be able to assist with elevating others to higher levels of consciousness. So that's really the goal of Ascension Tech. That's really my goal in life, not only to do that for others, but to do that for myself. And so one of our key offerings that we are now offering is the Reihu Tech modality. So in my, I'll share my events coming up basically on a monthly basis here in Southern California in Orange County. We are now offering monthly Reihu Tech events, whether it's the Healing Circle, to where you can come in and just receive a healing and be a part of a manifestation meditation that I channel Lalonde, and they lead you through to help you manifest something in your life. We also have our intro to Rehutech. So if you're interested in becoming attuned to the modality, learning more about it, we have that. It's a 2.5-hour workshop where you get a temporary attunement. We teach you how to sense subtle energies if you don't sense them already. And then you have that modality for about a week to play with in your life, to see its impact, to see how this energy affects you. And then we also offer level 1 attunement and training, which Daniel is one of our level 1 practitioners. He has been trained, certified, and attuned. And I've been loving all of the feedback that he's been giving me since he's gone through that attunement and training. And it's really just about, once you're attuned, it's a simple attunement for you. And it's more so teaching you what you can do with it. And your mind, your imagination is the limit to it. So I feel so incredibly blessed over this past year. It's basically been a year since I did my adept level with Rehutech and became a now facilitator of Rehutech along with Iris, is being able to bring this to the world. So this is one of the events that you guys will hear me speaking about. Basically, we have 3 events a month. We'll start having 4. We'll have a 4th deeper dive workshop starting in January. But we'd love for you to join us in that if any of those things interest you. So with that said, Daniel, you can go ahead and cue my ads and I will speak to what I have coming up. So this Friday, I have my Chakra Reset Sound Bath coming. I absolutely love hosting this event. It's a 90-minute session. You receive both a guided meditation, you receive energy healing transmission. So each person receives an energy healing from me, and then you receive the sound bath portion. So I have the ocean drum, crystal singing bowls. So that's the last half of it. And then at the end, I open it to the floor for anyone to be able to receive intuitive messages or hear about what I may have seen, felt, or cleared in their energy healing transmission. And I just purchased a shaman drum. I'm absolutely so excited. I'm adding that into the mix. So I will now be starting each session. If you've been before, this will be new for you. I'm starting with the shaman drum. So that not only assists with breaking up stagnant energies, it helps the mind shift into those deeper levels of meditation much more quickly. And it also infuses the space with much more healing energy and intention. So if you're interested in that, it is an in-person event. It is $40 for pre-sale, $50 at the door at Awakening Center in Laguna Hills. And for more information, you can go on my website, rwk2.com, under the upcoming events page, and you can purchase a ticket directly from there. And then I was just speaking about the Rehutech. It is, I didn't necessarily speak to this part, but it's the ancient Egyptian energy modality. So this is the energy modality brought forward from ancient Egypt. This was what they taught in the mystery schools back then. We have all kinds of information on our YouTube channel and on my YouTube channel as well. So if you're watching on my YouTube channel, we have a few videos. We have one that's the history of Rehutech, which tells you about how this energy modality is reawakened. It goes back over 10,000 years when it was brought to Earth to be used as a spiritual modality. So know that we have those events coming up. You can see each of those events that I spoke to on my upcoming events page, or you can also go directly to our Ascension Tech website, which is ascensiontech.org, and look at that Rehutech tab. It'll tell you all about the modality, its presuppositions. We have our videos there so you can understand more of what you can do with it, how the attunement works, and the history as well. And then also my services that I offer, I'm going to give you guys kind of the overview, and then each week I'll give you a deeper dive on what to expect with each of these. So if any of these are interesting to you, you can totally hop onto my website. You can request a book at any time. But as we go through each week, I will be kind of doing a deeper dive on what each specific service is. But I offer intuitive tarot readings, so that today you're getting that kind of sample. I also offer Rehutech energy healing sessions, which go a little bit deeper. There's also some karma clearing that goes in with that. We directly take on whatever you feel like is the biggest obstacle in your life at that time. We take it from a mental perspective, and then we also do the energy healing. I also offer space clearing for home or business, written dream interpretations, astro chart birth interpretations. I've spoken about my Chakra Reset Sound Bath, which I also offer private sessions for. And then the other thing that I am so happy to have is my meditative quest through the Zodiac album. So this was part of what was created from my sound bath and wanting to be able to free myself up so I could do the energy healing for each person in the session. So I created this album. This is what you hear when you come to my sound bath, and I've offered it as an album as well too. It is energy infused. So every time you listen to any 3 of the tracks, you are receiving that Rehutech energy, and it is serving you for your highest good, going right where it's needed. And each of these goes through each of the zodiac signs. So if you were to come to my sound bath, you would find whatever the sun is in. So for example, this Friday, it will be the sun is in Scorpio. So it will be the Scorpio meditative quest. So we go through each of the aspects of Scorpio, and then you get to live out that energy. So I guide you through that, and it gives you the opportunity to better understand that sign. better understand the energies that you're being surrounded by at this time. And then it also gives you that energy healing. So there's a guided body scan meditation, that meditative quest for that zodiac sign, and then a sleep album as well too. So you can listen to it as you go to sleep, and it'll just send you off to sleep in being much more restorative and deeper sleep as well. So that is what I have going on.
Cool. You really need a hobby, Wayne.
I know. I just don't do enough.
I was like, wow. It's like, talk about lazy, just a little.
Which you shouldn't feel that way at all, because you are always going, mister.
Well, for those of you that know me, if you did the alignment today, here is the information for the alignment. It's a transpersonal coaching session. It identifies, acknowledges, and removes barriers. And we do the groups, one-on-ones. This is good for team building workshops, for your corporate events, for your parties. We can do in person and virtual. For sessions, if you want to book, and for more information on it, visit thealignment.net. And that's .net. So go to thealignment.net. You get all the information. You get some testimonials there. There's the contact sheet, so you can contact me. It will come directly to my email, so you can book a session. It's also the same place. You can also go there to book a card reading session. I should really make a tab for that, so you can go to that one. We'll do it next time. You still got time. If you have not bought your copy of Grumpy Bunny and the Colors Game in English and Spanish, it's available at all 3 bookstores: Awakenings in Laguna Hills, Visions and Dreams in Costa Mesa, and Village Well in Culver City. If you want to order from me, go to littlemexicanproductions.com/grumpybunny, and it's $25 with postage. Plus, if you give me the names of who is it for, I will make sure to sign them. Plus, you get a sticker and a collector's pin that goes with it. So make sure you. And I want to make sure that people know about Christian too, since he was here on the show. He does spiritual coaching and mediumship consultation, and there's his information if you want to book a session with him. But now I feel like I'm not working enough. I need to up my my screenshots. Yes, my announcements. I need to post more about what I do, because the end of the year is here. So you might want to book a reading, a session. We'll also do couples. I just did a Halloween party on Saturday, which actually Wayne and I have both done this party. I did it 2 years ago, and then I couldn't do it last year, so Wayne stepped in, and then I went back this year. So I don't know. I don't think Katrina's watching, but Katrina, if you happen to be watching, thank you for trusting us to entertain your guests. It's a really great Halloween party. They have great Halloween parties. We have 12 minutes to go. What else is going on? What else is coming?
So actually, I'd be interested, since I spoke about Rehu-Tech, I'd be interested to hear, I know you've shared some with me, but I'd be interested to hear your perspective a little bit on Rehu-Tech, the process, or what you feel like you have gained from it too.
Well, I felt like a virgin. It touched me for the very first time. So for those of you who know, I mean, I've been a Reiki master for several years, and I felt like I was really doing great at the level that I was, and have had some really good experience with clients that I've had for years. But number one, it's always good to continue to educate yourself and continue to learn. And I've learned that throughout the years that I never know enough. I always want to know more. And plus, Wayne knows me. I always want to know more. Like,
me too.
And particularly when it comes to my practice. So when Wayne invited me, at first I was like, what am I going to learn? Like, really? What am I going to get out of this? But as usual, my curiosity always wins out. I'm like, just go and see what it's about. It definitely has upped my manifestation abilities. When I can get out of my head and not anxiety kick in, manifestation has grown. And sometimes it's the most nonsense moments that and I'll give an example. Excuse me, in a minute, I just burped. Number two, the healing abilities that I have, because I did one of the group sessions. Mm-hmm. Yeah, one of the group circles, which we have the next one coming up on the 7th.
On the 7th, yes.
And I will be there. So for anybody in the Orange County area, if you want to come, I will be one of the healers present there. So having that opportunity to work with people directly, using my knowledge and the reconnecting, which is not meant to be separate. It's supposed to be together. It's like Play-Doh. You mix the colors together and see what comes up. And the expressions on the people's faces, particularly, I got that one gentleman who was kind of a skeptic, and I was like, if nothing else, you just sat with me for 5 minutes. Like, that's all you're gonna
had a good view.
Yeah, and I'm like, you get to feel my energy, and to see the transformation in his face was really awesome. And I heard him get up and tell the person that he knew, he's like, that was incredible. And I was like, that's, and you know how I feel about skeptics. I love a good skeptic, particularly if I can change their minds, not by saying anything, just by doing the work.
The experience.
So I'll tell you this little story. So Madeline, who's actually, I don't know if she's still watching, but Madeline and I went to the Universal Haunted House tour. And there's thousands of people, right? Thousands of people. And Madeline, she said, or I said, I'm surprised that I haven't seen anybody that I know. And in my head, testing my spirit guides, I go, can you find me somebody that I know? Can you put me in front of somebody that I know? Because for me, that was like okay, in the midst of all these thousands of people, I can connect with somebody I know. So we're going down the escalator on our way out of the park, and I hear from behind me, Daniel. So I turn around, and it's somebody that I know. Not only that, but he's a fellow actor. We're part of the same agency, and his name is Daniel Garza.
Can't make it up.
I'm Daniel G. Garza, and he's Daniel Garza. He's also a puppeteer. But I was like, I kind of looked up, and in my own head, I was like, okay, I'll shut up now.
Thank you. Okay.
And it's basically, I felt like the universe and the spirit guys were like, is that enough, or should we make you another taco? And I was like, nope, I'm full.
You refused another taco?
I was like,
God,
good. But I hope that the other people who have gone through this level 1 have been able to incorporate it and realize the potential it has. Plus, I always get the money itch for stuff, and it's become stronger. My hearing things has become stronger. So I'm ready, like saving my money for level 2. I want level 2. You know me, I always want more. So I'm saving for 2. So.
Well, and I love it too, because level 1 is really all about using the energy for yourself. So before we really teach you how to utilize it for other people, you still can. There's definitely that ability to do it, but we want you to have a solid understanding, just for that reason that you just said, is that it has really been impactful for Iris and I, because we have implemented it in our daily life. It is a part of our spiritual hygiene. It is a part of how we manifest. It is a part of how we address and deal with our challenges, our karma. And so level 1 is really all about teaching you how to use the energy for yourself and the opportunities to utilize it for yourself. So we just give you ideas, framework. And then level 2 is really about working with that energy for others. So we go much more in depth on the energy body, the multidimensional body, the soul's journey, all of those ways, so that you can better understand how to operate this energy for other people and do even deeper healings from that perspective. So I love that you're excited about it. I know that you already have so many practices, and that's the other thing that I love about Reconnecting is it empowers what you're already doing. So if you already have spiritual modalities or modalities that you're using, or if you're a therapist, if you're a massage therapist, if you're a chiropractor, we have a chiropractor that's been attuned. And once they were attuned, they found that as they would go to do adjustments, sometimes as they're touching the person, the adjustment happens without them even having to do the work that would normally be required, because it's as simple as activating the energy with intention. And that just, it superpowers whatever it is that you're doing. So in that intention, as the chiropractor, she's going in to do that adjustment, and the adjustment is like practically snapping into place. So whether you're looking for more spiritual empowerment, whether you're looking for more healing power for if you're holding space for others, whether it's a physical space, whether it's emotional, mental, spiritual, I love Reconnecting because it really is just about using what you already have, knowing that you're being further empowered. And then from that space, it gives you the opportunity to try new things, try new ways of manifesting. So it really just becomes a bunch of different thought experiments, and you have this energy to supercharge each of those. And we always say that we teach to utilize the energy for your highest good, for the highest good of whoever you're sending energy to. And in doing so, the energy is intelligent. So it'll always go right where it's needed. It'll impact in the way that exactly is needed and provide that support that's needed. So I absolutely love that you came in, that you were willing to become attuned. I'm glad that you decided to take that step. I love to hear all the things that we that you have been impacted with. And then I love to hear that you're going to be there too. It's such a great opportunity to get to work on others, especially in that perspective, and to see that difference. I love, like you said too, it's really about not just hearing that there's been a shift, but to see it, to know it, to feel it. It takes it to a new level of knowing that you're holding space, and it helps serve you and the people around you. So that makes me so happy to hear.
Well, I you know me, I always want more power. I want
bring it on.
Bring it on.
We're
so
manly
for everybody
men.
watching, we're so excited, and thank you so much to everybody that joined us on our very first episode of the Crab and Goat Show. We will be with you every Monday from 5 to 6:30. So make sure you set your calendar for it. Look for our invitations. Check us out on Facebook, LinkedIn, both YouTube pages, and Instagram. Make sure you set your alarms and join us. Come ready to learn, do an alignment, get a reading. And for those of you that are able, we do accept donations. You can check us out at Cash App or Venmo, and I'll make sure to share those with Wayne. Just go to Card Devo, and any donations are appreciated. Other than that, any last words before we go, Wayne?
So it is Halloween. It is Samhain time.
Yeah.
So this is really a great time. And I know I kind of was talking to Daniel a little bit. I was kind of tuning into his apartment, doing a quick little energy on him before we started. And I could feel some of his ancestors, some of his family, some of his departed loved ones that are kind of present in his space. And this is the time for it. That's what Halloween really is. It's the time that the veil becomes thin and our loved ones that have crossed over are able to come back. And this is an opportunity for us to provide further healing to them, to hear them out further. So know that this is the time that, yes, spirits come forward, but it really is about our ancestry and those that have come before us to provide us with where we're at now, the physical body that we're in, the spiritual course that we're on as well too. So the energies are intense, but this is really a great time for release, healing for your ancestors, which also gives you healing as well too, ancestral healing, generational healing. So if you can, know that Halloween isn't just about dressing up, getting candy, and having a great time. I love it for that as well too. But if you have a chance, go on YouTube, look at what Samhain, it's spelled Samhain. Look at the history of it, especially from a Druidic perspective. That's really been vibing with me, especially because of my teacher, my friend Lori Camacho, and she's a trance channel. She's the one that taught me to channel as well too. Her unseen friend Reina gives an amazing breakdown of what Samhain was before and all of its great things. So know that if you have family visiting, if you have family that's parted, that's visiting you, if you're having these thoughts come up of family members that have passed away, they're with you at this time. They are here. They're letting their presence be known because the veil is thinner. And anything that you can do to give them your love, share your messages, let them share your messages with you, invite them in while you sleep for your highest good. This is the time, this is the week to do so, and let that kind of emotional release, generational release come through.
Yep. And Halloween is Thursday, and Day of the Dead, Dia de los Muertos, is Friday. So this is the perfect opportunity for all that. By the way, before we go, we got 2 minutes. Quick trivia. Do you know what has become the most popular Halloween costume of 2024?
Popular Halloween costume of 2024. I don't know what it is specifically, but I'd say it's probably one of those inflatable costumes where you blow it up and it's probably like the inflatable unicorn or something like that. Oh, hi, Tyler.
You know Tyler?
Love
Hi,
you.
Tyler. Welcome to the show. All right. So what's ranking number one in the Halloween costumes for 2024 is the shrunken head bob from Beetlejuice.
Oh, interesting. I still haven't seen it. I loved the
it?
original as a kid, but we need to go see it because it's a classic.
I'll go with you. I already saw it, but I'll go with you and see it again. It's
oh my God, yes.
It's really good. All right, everybody. Thank you for joining us. This has been the first episode of the Crab and Goat Show. We'll see you back next week with even more information, readings, and us. All right, we'll talk to you later. Bye, guys.
Bye.